Sexy. Yes. Even the word sexy sounds sexy. We all have a personal opinion of what sexy is to us, and automobile manufacturers have their own definition of what sexy is, and they use that to sell cars and trucks to you and me, not often successfully. In the beginning, cars were horse carriages with the horses swapped out for horsepower. And they shared the same kind of boring, same design with the wheels and engines and stuff like that and place to sit. In the 1920s and 1930s, companies like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Bugatti started realizing that design can drive car sales. And these designers realized that lines and curves belong in every single design. And there's no way of getting away from that because from the beginning till now, wheels are still required and they're still pretty curvy. And so there's nothing you can do to really change that equation of having curves and lines. And on the road today, a lot of the vehicles we have are utilitarian, and semi-trucks are a good example of that. They're designed to maximize the amount of stuff that you can move from one place to the other legally from point A to point B. And we drive utilitarian vehicles ourselves. Jeeps were designed as military vehicles to maximize the road clearance to get over rough terrain. Trucks are designed to move stuff and pull stuff. And minivans are designed to maximize the distance in between the driver and the children. And a lot of these utilitarian vehicles have lots of lines and not many curves. And when designers go to the other direction, they start designing cars with lots of curves. And we end up with cars like these, which maximize the passenger space while also maximizing the cuteness factor. But what really drives sexy in the automobile industry? Well, sexy is something that is more of a feeling you get when you see a car, something that makes you feel like, maybe it's a love at first sight thing. And for a lot of us, speed comes into it. Speed goes into feeling like a car can go fast. Jet planes are sexy because they look like they can go fast. Now, a lot of the cars aren't designed for being aerodynamic. I'm a proud owner of a 98 Jeep Wrangler, which is the least aerodynamically vehicle on the road today. And the reason why I have to draft behind those semis to get up to 75 miles per hour on the turnpike. Now, the government has clamped down on things like, have tightened up the rules on fuel efficiency and regulations and safety. Not a bad thing. But it's all kind of, you throw those into a big computer and you end up with kind of the same thing. And this is the curve that is killing sexiness in the automobile industry today. And you might recognize this curve as maybe the car that you drove in here tonight. Now, it's not a bad curve. It looks pretty good. It's not too bad. Now, these are 3 different cars made by 3 different manufacturers on 3 different continents. And they all look the same. The problem is that it's common. It's not different enough. And when it comes down to it, sexy is an attitude. It's a feeling you get. It's something like I'm too sexy for this car kind of thing. It's something that you get that really snaps your head when you see a car. This is a 1961 Jaguar E-Type. Enzo Ferrari, the founder of Ferrari, called this the sexiest car ever made. And this is a car that still snaps heads today. Now, we've looked at several cars and trucks, and a lot of them share 2 common design patterns. One is what I call a parallel pattern, and they all kind of look the same. If you start drawing lines up there, you can kind of see how, draw a windshield and a bumper, and it looks like your sedan or a truck. And the other design is a wedge design. You can kind of see maybe a Chevrolet Corvette or a Camaro in there, how it kind of angles down to a vanishing point in front. And all this brings us to the Kia Soul. Now, why? Now, I like the Kia Soul. It's fun, it's peppy, it's really kind of fun to drive. I like it. But this is not the reason why it's the strangest car on the road, just because Geoffrey likes it. The reason why the Kia Soul is the strangest car on the road is because it goes completely opposite of what every other car on the road does. It angles out that way, what I call a divergent wedge. Now, this is not a bad thing. It's fun, it's sexy, it's cute. That's why the Kia Soul is the strangest car on the road. Thank you.